Welcome, everyone, to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now, first off the bat, I do gotta apologize. We've had some errors in our schedule that prevented us from seeing movies for a little bit, but we are back now, do not worry. And today we are just back from the theater. We have
Mhm.
seen Thanksgiving, followed up by the Holdovers, and then we followed that with Journey to Bethlehem, and then we rounded out our day with Napoleon. So
Good lineup.
actually, yeah, good lineup considering that we've had a lot of kind of mediocre films in the last few ones.
Yeah.
It's good to have a good lineup like this.
Yeah, I was actually very happy with this because, like, looking back at our other ones, like, this is our Halloween episode. Our ones before that weren't great.
Yeah. All right. So starting us off, we'll start with Thanksgiving, the one I think that we'll have the most to talk about.
Oh yes.
So
If you want to
basic,
give the quick little,
yeah, yeah. So basic premise of this is that um, on Thanksgiving night, they opened the local retail store up for Black Friday early, and a lot of people got trampled and killed in the process. And 1 year later, a killer who's kind of got like this like vengeance motive to like bring justice for what happened then starts going after the adults and kids who are responsible for causing the riot that was the Black Friday sale. Um and then it's just your basic whodunit masked slasher throughout the rest of the movie. Um
I wouldn't say basic, but
Well,
the
no,
premise,
not
yeah,
basic, but like premise wise, that's what it is. But it does a
yeah.
lot more than just your basic slasher. Um, Starting at the very beginning of this, the Black Friday scene, like the opening
Oh,
scene, it's
that was
it's very
horrifying.
it was horrifying, but in a way that felt different from the rest of the movie because
Yeah,
at the point that is it doesn't feel like a slasher movie yet because you're still being introduced to all the characters and all like the friend group drama and all that.
yeah.
Um, like there's not even like a killer yet. Like the killer hasn't even been like created yet, and there's people like getting their necks cut open on the broken glass from the door that they break, and there's people getting like trampled and crushed under things, and it like it just goes ballistic with that, and like it's scary that like it's not even the killer yet, like this is just people.
It was
And not
terrifying for
Yeah,
me because this is a thing that happens. Like, it's
yeah,
not
it
like
does.
the rest of the movie, it's a slasher, like, yeah, serial killers exist, but, like, whatever. Like, this is something that we have heard about happening our whole lives. And,
Yeah, like
like, it
people
was
getting
horrifying
trampled
to
at Black
see
Friday,
that.
and yeah, it's yeah, it was just like a really like it takes you back
Yeah.
because the horror is like it's not malicious yet. Like it's not like they're killing or being done by a killer. Like it's just people. Like
Yeah.
one person dies and the people who kill them like they don't even notice.
Yeah. It's the perfect way of showing the horror that is mankind. Kinda.
All
Like,
right, Robert Frost. Come on.
Okay, you know what I mean though. Like it is like I remember looking back on it. Like I was thinking about it a lot as we were watching our other movies. I mean, I was still paying
Yeah.
attention to our other movies, but you know what I mean. Like I was thinking about it a lot, and I realized they did not overdo it. Like the
No.
actors that were acting as people in that, like they did not overdo it. Like it wasn't unbelievable that people would act
Yeah,
like
it
this.
didn't seem like. Yeah, you didn't have a reaction like, "Oh, come on, that's like a little much, don't you think?" Like, no, like I felt like, man, that bitch is crazy.
Like,
Like that's a
yeah,
real
but
crazy
like
person.
people like that exist. Like that's the scary part about this.
Right. Right.
Like it was just horrific. And like that one part where the dude is literally sitting there, like bleeding out, dying on a pallet, and this woman just walks up, grabs it, and then just leaves.
Yeah, grabs the waffle iron like right out of his hands.
Like out of this dying man's hands and just goes. Like
Yeah,
what the heck?
it's crazy. Just a warning going in here. At this point, that we will be going into spoiler territory pretty easy, pretty early. I mean, because
Yeah.
it's like a lot of the kills are like the highlights of this movie. So
There are some of
it's
them that I'm gonna want to leave a bit, but like
yeah,
we're gonna be going pretty heavily into the kills because the kills are what make this movie amazing.
right. Um,
But moving on,
yeah, you jump into some things
yeah.
quick. I'm
Uh,
collecting my thoughts.
so So that's cool. So, like, first off, another thing to so after this all happens, we flash forward to the next Thanksgiving, and surprise, surprise, like any big corporation or company, whatever, that makes a lot of money and wants to, continue to do that. Something bad happens. They just kind of sweep it under the rug and act like nothing's happening because following year Thanksgiving, yet again, they're gonna try and open the store early again after people, literally died at the store the year before. But
Right.
also thing we kind of glossed over, and this is really cool because the whole story takes place in Plymouth, which is the founding place of Thanksgiving, and the killer is a guy in a John Carver mask dressed up as a pilgrim.
Yeah.
Like that's so like the thematic the theme of this movie is inextricable from Thanksgiving. Like it is
Right.
so good. I mean that's the name of the movie, but you know what I mean. Like it they
Yeah.
played the theme so amazingly well. Like the fact that this is a slasher movie set in Thanksgiving that does better than some other slasher movies is insane.
Like the slogan is literally "This year there will be no leftovers." I was fully expecting this movie to a, if anything, be like just like hokey, like like whatever, like mid,
Mhm.
or at the very worst it was going to be bad, but I didn't expect it to actually be as good as it was.
Oh yeah. So
I'm going to
moving
come out the
moving
gate and say
to
I like this movie.
Oh yeah, same here. We get to our first moment of the movie, our first kill of the movie.
Yeah, if you want to see this movie, see it for the kills because the kills are absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So we get to the first one. Uh
Yeah, the first kill is the from the trailer, the fat lady who gets dipped in water and put pressed up against the freezer, peeling her skin off. Um,
it's so good.
she doesn't die right there. The trailer makes it look like she dies right there, but she actually gets away. And she tries to crawl into a dumpster. He rams his car into the dumpster and the lid slams shut and just splits her in half. And like that being the like real like murder kill, because I mean people died at the black market thing, but that being where it starts off for the killer just sets the tone for the whole movie for what it's gonna go into.
Oh,
Um,
it was so good.
Isaac, the kills were very graphic, and
They were.
Isaac, you threw up a little bit at one of the kills.
I did. Like it caught me off guard so bad. Like I did have like a little bit of a cough throughout the movie, like a tickle in my throat. But like at that point, like I was like, oh my, and like I went, like it was so bad. Like it caught me so bad. Oh my god.
Yeah, I heard you did like your signature noise when you go hurt, but like it was like wet that time. Like I heard there was like objects in your mouth this time around, and I was like, oh
Yeah,
my
that
god,
sucked.
you actually
That
threw up a little
sucked.
bit from that one. Uh,
I actually threw up. I vomed.
you vommed, bro, vommed. Give him a hand
But
here.
anyway, we're not at that kill yet. But the best part about this
Are we?
kill, like she tries to crawl into the dumpster and then it like cuts her in half. But then he takes the bottom half of her body and sticks it on the sign this store, right next to the sign hanging from the store that says 50% off discount. And like he's posting all of this on social media too.
Which I would say that's probably my biggest gripe of the movie is that there's no way any of this would be allowed on social media.
Yeah, like he's posting it
He posts
literally on
pictures of dead
Facebook.
bodies. Yeah, it's on Twitter or something or some
Yeah.
facsimile to that. But like he's posting shit like that, and I'm like, my guy, how is your account not banned yet?
Yeah. But no, yeah, the kill that got me though was like the girl fell onto a table saw that was going, and like it's just like spitting chunks of her out of her. And like it was combinations like horrifying and disgusting to me because like you know me. I've watched Terrifier. I didn't even throw up at the bleach and salt scene. I didn't throw up. Like
Yeah.
if I would anything, but the reason why is that like it just horrified me enough because that was a legitimate fear of mine for the longest time when I was doing woodwork because I was gonna go into woodworking and stuff and like falling into or like cutting myself on a table saw, like that was a terrifying dream that I would have every once in a while, and just seeing that visualized was just like I'm sitting here and I'm watching and I'm just like no no ah, it's just like I
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
her boyfriend pulls her off, and there's just like mounds of like ground person meat
Oh
left
my
on the
god, it was
table.
it.
That was another detail that I did like though is like after her boyfriend pulls her off and he's just like sitting on the ground like holding her body and he's just like in complete shock. Like he's just like what do I do?
Yeah, yeah.
What do I do?
So
What
like
do I do? I was like
I remember leaning over to you in in that moment because I'm sitting there like because the way he said it in my mind I was sitting there like oh he just fucked up the acting and they couldn't figure it out kind of thing, like it reminded me of the Jim, oh my god, I can't believe that you just committed suicide. Why did you like I did that, like I even leaned over and made that joke to you and you pointed out like no that's just homeboy's in shock, like pure shock.
no, his brain froze. He doesn't know
Like
what to
that
do.
was I was like wow, I was like okay that makes that infinitely better. Oh yeah, let's also talk about the scumbag dude that's selling alcohol to teenagers that somehow ends up being like a solid dude by the end of the movie. Like he was like
Real?
literally the first scene you see with him, he offers to sell these teenagers guns because they're being targeted by a serial killer, and then he's like, "Want to come to my party? I'm selling alcohol to teenagers," and you're like, "Man, fuck this guy." And then like the next time we see him, he's like shooting a gun off near an area where a killer just was. But then the next time he's like, "Here, take this, take care of yourself," kind of thing, and it's like. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, he like gives them like a free
Yeah, and
gun.
I'm just sitting, and he like even offers this chick like self defense stuff, and then he gives the girl like this ring that like the ring that has like the blade in it thing, and like man, I thought this was just
Yeah,
supposed to be the scuzzy dude through the whole movie, but nah, he's actually a solid dude.
real.
Like dang.
Um,
Although there's the non-existent boyfriend.
so
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
real. Um, um, overall, one thing I gotta commend this movie for is that I feel like they kept the killer's identity pretty
They
well
did. I did
hidden.
not expect it to be who it is.
Like, yeah, I don't want to say
No,
who it
same
was
here.
at all because I mean, after the reveal, there's not a whole lot of movie left, so it's not like there's more things to talk about. But I feel like they kept it ambiguous enough where you had a couple people guessed
Hmm.
in your head, like it's either this one or that one. But there's like something here that made me think it was this guy, and there was something there that made me think it was that one. Um, but it did a good job of like being subtle enough where it didn't give you a whole lot of clues, so like it wasn't
Yeah.
super obvious, and I mean it's actually able to like subvert your
I will
expectations.
say one thing that I was a little
So
that I did have another gripe with the movie, but I was able to forgive it. Was
so
the whole thing from the trailer where they're talking about like all of the weapons he was killing people with were straight off a Thanksgiving table. Like for the most part, yes, but there were
I mean that didn't
yeah,
end up in the
that
movie.
line didn't end up in the movie. But like I liked that detail. I thought that was cool. But like I mean he does for the most part. Like the oven and the axe, like the axe is a little thing, but he's a pilgrim, so it makes sense. But like
Well, yeah, he stole the axe off of the like museum from the guy
yeah,
whose
exactly. Like
mask he's wearing.
it worked for it. But like and like obviously like the corn cob holder thing, like that, like those were all there, and like the meat, but like and the meat tenderizer and all those, but like for the most part, like that wasn't the case. But again, that it's a very minor gripe because the kills were so fantastic, I got over it immediately. I was just
Yeah,
sad. I wanted to see the meat tenderizer used more often, but I was okay with where it was used. So
yeah, yeah, it was pretty good. Um, uh, Negative stuff. I mean, aside from what we said about the Isaac's thing with the weapons and my thing with like, there's no way in hell he would ever have his account active to do and post all these
yeah,
taunts and stuff like that. I don't really have much negative wise. I mean, I don't particularly care about the friend group's like personal issues or like the family issues. Like there's a whole thing about the main girl and her boyfriend and her ex-boyfriend, and like I kind of don't care. Those guys were just set up to be like possible suspects
yeah.
for the killers.
I I was a little
So,
disappointed with that. One thing with that is that one of the reasons I act one of the reasons I wanted to see this movie were there was that there was two actors Actually, well, there was 3 that I was interested in once I saw it, but there were 2 main actors that I saw that were in this movie that I was excited to see in the movie, and I didn't see either of them nearly as much as I wanted to. 'Cause, like, the dad, I
Yeah,
like the dad. The dad is the guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's the guy who played Louis Litt in Suits, and I love him as a character, and also the dude's a good actor, and I wanted to see more of him, and he kind of just was not in the movie an insane amount. Like he was in it enough, but not. I mean, he was in it more than the other actor, which was Milo Manheim. Because I like Milo Manheim because he got his start on Disney Channel.
I'm aware.
He's a more recent Disney Channel star from the movie Zombies that I actually like, and he just
Oh,
wasn't.
you're grounded.
I like zombies. I don't
You're
care. You
grounded.
can ground me all you want.
You're
Movie is fun.
grounded. Get out.
Fine, whatever. Anyway, uh, but no, like I wanted to see more of him, and he just kind of disappeared halfway through the movie and didn't show up till the end.
Real.
And he was
All right.
also kind of not a good guy.
No, he was a dick for sure.
So,
For sure.
but, oh yeah,
Um,
the other actor that I talked about that I was going to say though was the Mitch, the guy working at the thing. Do you know who that was?
no,
He was the guy who played Benny in Supernatural, the vampire Dean brings back from purgatory.
still no.
Okay, never mind then. Anyway,
I
moving on
hate.
to ratings.
Yeah. I'm going to give this one a like a low 8. Like a low 8. This is a fun uh Thanksgiving. You don't get a whole lot of Thanksgiving movies, and I know this isn't like one to watch with your family, but it is a nice holiday themed slasher movie because you don't get good holiday themed slasher movies anymore or ever at all.
Hmm,
So yeah, I recommend this one very much. I thought it was very well done, and the kills were fantastic.
they were. I am also giving this an 8. I'm giving it like a solid 8,
Okay.
like a bold 8.
A
Like,
bold
cause
eight.
the bold italicized underlined 8.
I
Anyway,
can't do that.
uh I know you can't do that. I'm not making you do that. I'm just making the joke. Anyway, no, cuz
All right.
this is a great one, and like you said it wouldn't be one that you'd like sit down with your family. Obviously, no. But like I would like like I have people that I would know that I know that like slashers and like horror movies. I would 100% recommend this movie to all of them.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a movie that I will recommend to people that I know like movies like this. Like it will be on my list as a solid movie to recommend to someone.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
like that. You don't get that a lot with slashers these days, honestly.
I mean, the gore is pretty excessive, but like for what it is, you were kind of going there for that in the first place.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
it was so well done. So I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to our second movie, The Holdovers. The The Holdovers is a movie set in, I want to say, it's 1970.
1970
It's the
exactly.
very Yeah, it is the December of 1970, and it takes place at this like boarding school in America. I can't remember exactly. It's called Barton. I believe that is an actual
Oh,
college. But anyway,
they drove to Boston, so it's in Massachusetts.
okay, there you go. But anyway, uh, they it's about the winter break that they take, and obviously, kids go home from a boarding school on a winter break, except for the ones that don't, and they are called the Holdovers. And that is what this movie is about. Those kids who are left behind, and they're left with, stereotypical grumpy teacher, and they kind of, have to figure out. It's kind of a nice, like a. Would you call this? I wouldn't call it a coming of age story. It's more like a.
No, it's a comedy and drama ish.
Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah. It's This was a movie that I went expecting a lot of comedy, and there was, but like the drama in the movie, like the story of the characters and stuff was actually really good.
Hmm.
Like it was I said this to you as we were leaving the theater. This movie was a good like contrast to watching Thanksgiving, because we literally went directly from Thanksgiving to this movie, and
Well, yeah,
it was so relaxing, but yet also gripping at the same time. Like I was paying attention to the story the whole time.
right. Well, because we
Like
just
there
get
was
back
at
from
no point I was.
Thanksgiving. We just get back from Thanksgiving, which is like a high-paced action slasher, in your face, blood and guts thing. And then you just get done with that, and you sit down in the chair, and you get a nice, calm Christmas movie. So you're just
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what
oh,
it is. It is a Christmas movie.
fine, yeah,
I was not expecting that from the trailer of this movie, but that is what it is.
yeah. Well, I mean, that was the
I
premise, is that they're there for Christmas break.
Oh, I guess, yeah. That's fair. Anyway, would you like to start with your thoughts on the movie?
Um, like I said, I thought this was a nice, calm Christmas movie. I mean, it's a very well put together film. I mean, it's any anything I found lacking in it was just like my personal interest, because again, it's just about these kids at a boarding school and their grumpy teacher who has to look after them for the 2 weeks. And some of it's kind of like cheeky, funny, maybe a little like nasal chuckle kind of funny. And then the sad stuff is kind of like a single, aw, that's sad. But like nothing that really belly laughs you or breaks you down crying. Like it's nice and calm. The sad parts are sad, but not overly sad. The funny parts are funny, but not way too funny. And it's just a nice, relaxing, calm movie. I thought the characters were well put together, um, and I think it did a good job. But I mean, just because I don't have a whole lot negative to say about it doesn't mean it's going to be ranking up very high just on that alone.
Okay. That's fair. I actually quite like movies like these.
Yeah,
They are I like the story by the end had a very found family feel to it.
yeah, yeah,
And I am a sucker for a found family, because I'm a big believer in that. Like, I mean, my friends are just as much my family as my actual family, even more so because I talk to them more.
real.
Like, honestly, like you're more my. I hate to say it this way, and I'm hoping my family doesn't find this, but you're more my brother than my actual brother.
Aw,
Like, you actually are, and
what a
like,
horrible insult to your brother.
yeah.
But thanks, man.
But it's just the way it is. But like, so I'm a huge like. I actually found myself tearing up at certain points of this movie, and
Yeah, it was a
it
good
was
movie.
it really was. This is one that I actually don't want to say a whole lot about the specifics of this movie because, like, that's what makes the movie, you know? Like,
Yeah,
it
because
is.
if you
Like,
start going in and explaining the relationships between everybody, like that's kind of the whole movie is them developing the
it's
relationships
watching them
and
grow
learning more about each other.
more about themselves as well. Like,
Yeah,
it's really good. The other thing that I loved though was what's the actor's name? Do you remember his name? Of Walleye's actor?
as Paul Giamatti, that's Big Fat Liar, the blue guy himself.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti was in this, and like his character's name was Mr. Walleye or Professor Walleye or whatever, and
What they called
boy
him, you
howdy was
asshole.
he Professor Walleye. What?
That was a nickname, you asshole.
Oh, really?
That wasn't his actual name, you dick.
I thought his last name was Walleye.
Please look him up.
Was his last name not actually Walleye? Actually, not Professor Walleye. Oh, his last name was Hunnam.
His name was Paul Hunnam, you dick.
Oh, I felt bad. I didn't realize that was a nickname. I thought that was just his last name, and that he had a horrible coincidence that his eye was a fucking walleye.
Wow, Isaac, and what a coincidence! You also thought that the kitchen staff in the kitchen, you thought her name was Mrs. Black Lady too, huh?
No, I didn't.
You,
That was
he has a disability, you asshole.
no one clip what this man just said. Please don't.
No, they're gonna be clipping you where you actually thought his name was Walleye, you dick.
I feel bad now. I because they
As you
literally made a
should.
joke in the movie, like which eye am I supposed to focus on?
They called him Walleye because he had walleye.
That makes me sad. Okay, that makes me feel bad. Anyway, but yeah, the acting in this movie was great as well. Like, I mean, Paul Giamatti was a great actor, but I had never even heard of the kid that played the main kid in this
You want
movie.
you want to know
Like, I
why?
had never.
Because that's
Why?
the only thing he's ever been in.
Wait, like legitimately?
Yeah, I looked up his IMDb. That's the only thing he's ever been in.
Dang. Okay. All right. I'm gonna look forward to seeing what this kid does.
Yeah,
'Cause
his
he did
character's
very good
role
in
was
this
great.
movie.
Um,
He did very well.
like you said, I don't want to say too much about it, so we're probably gonna wrap it up pretty soon. But one more thing is that I do like the '70s staticky old VHS kind of
Oh
feel that this
yeah.
movie had over it. It had the
This
patina
is
of a '70s movie, and it really felt like that. Like
this
you
is
could
the
like
one gripe I had with the movie.
you could have told me that this movie was made in the 1970s and they like remastered it for HD, and I would have believed you because
Okay,
all these
see, you put it
backgrounds,
that way.
outfits, and they all act. It feels just like that.
Okay, see, you put it that way, and it satiates my gripe with the movie a small bit. It
Okay,
tones it down a bit because
what's your
my
gripe?
gripe with the movie was when it started, you saw like the little pops and stuff that you get
Yeah,
when you watch an older movie. You know, like that was awesome and it was great. But then something weird happened, and I don't know if it was just me, but there were moments where like the edges of the screen still had that. Like the stuff in the background had that fuzzy look, but the
yeah.
stuff that it was focusing on was crystal fucking clear
Well, I mean, again, they did
at
make this
times.
movie like this year, and it's obviously with like real cameras, but it feels like a remastered version of like a 1970s movie, you know, where the
Yeah, see,
picture
you
looks
say
really clear, but
remastered.
it's got that like dingy color to it.
You call it remastered, and that satiates me a small bit because like that
Well, that's what it
that makes it
feels
sound
like.
a lot better.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it felt like I was expecting like with from the trailers and everything for this movie, I was expecting a movie shot with the 70s thing the whole time. Like I was expecting it to be kind of out of focus the whole movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, one, I am glad they didn't do that. I will say I am glad they didn't do that. It made the emotion on the characters' faces better. It made a lot of the things better. It was fine. But like for the most part, like I was super excited. Like I literally leaned over to you in the first 10 seconds of the movie and was like, I love this about this. Like
Yeah.
I love the
Well,
the little
cause
pop, like seeing the little pops. I loved it. And then they immediately like took that away somewhat.
well,
And like I was kind of sad.
well, I mean, they kind of did like the movie itself. Like, I checked during the movie. I'm like, during the movie, I thought like, did they stop doing that at some point? But then I every once in a while, I'll see like a little black speck like pop up for a brief second, and I'm like, oh no, they're still doing that. It's just that they're focusing on the picture and audio more. But
Yeah.
to top that off, like I don't know if you like really registered this or at all because you didn't say anything or I didn't say anything. But they like brought back like the original like logo intros for the companies, like
Oh, I
Miramax.
love that.
They had the old one from like from that time period, or what was the other one? Focus Films.
Focus Films. Yeah, no. I noticed that. I thought that was cool. I
Yeah,
just forgot to say something. Like I forgot to say something about it.
yeah, no, but Focus Films and Miramax, they've brought back like the 70s logo intros for that, and I was like, no, I was surprised like that. Like
I love
I didn't, I didn't know
Yeah,
they could still do that.
the way that yeah, yeah, like that's really cool. Like I liked that like they also brought back the very like 70s vibe of doing movies, like the way
Yeah,
that the way that they do like the opening credits and stuff like that. Like that
yeah,
was
they did.
cool.
They did like all the opening credits at the beginning of the movies, which that's how they did it back then.
Yeah, like it was really cool. Like this really was like it was a 70s movie shot in 2023. Like
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I would
Like that was
love
that
to
was
see
awesome.
more movies like that.
I would kill to see more movies like this. Yes, that would be
Yeah.
so good.
All right,
Anyway, moving on to ratings. I think uh I am going to give this movie a 7 out of 10.
nice.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time watching this movie. I would definitely sit down and like watch this movie with my family. Like I really would.
Yeah,
And it was so much. Well, okay, maybe not kids. There's some adult things in
yeah,
this movie. I
yeah, dude.
realized.
Yeah, there is
Maybe
a
not with your
lot.
family.
What your family?
Maybe not my yeah, maybe not kids or anything like that. But like, you know what I mean? Like this is a good movie to sit around and watch with people you're close with, you know?
Yeah,
Like your friends and stuff like that. Like it would be a good movie to watch with your friends. We'll say that.
yeah. All right. I'm gonna give this like a pretty high six. I feel like
All right.
this was a nice, calm, like peaceful Christmas movie. Um, Again, it's got a lot of more adult stuff in it, so maybe more like adult centered families watch it. But like I
Yeah.
feel like it's a nice movie. So, but nothing
Yeah,
too
it was.
flashy, but it's nice and calm. I described it
It
as.
the movie did what it needed to do and nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, yeah. Um. All right. While we're on the topic of Christmas movies, let's move on to our next one, Journey to Bethlehem, which, of course,
I
without introduction, is the story of Joseph and Mary as they are having the baby Jesus and going back to Bethlehem, and they need to stop in the barn and do that. but it is a twist this time because it is a semi-comedy. There's a lot of comedical aspects of it, and it's a musical, which, as you all know, I am not the biggest fan of musicals, but I made an exception, and I gotta
And
say it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. Um, Isaac, off the top
yes,
of your head, do you know who played Joseph?
yeah, it was Milo Manheim.
It was also Milo Manheim.
Yeah, it was also Milo Manheim. I was actually really happy to see him in this because, I mean, his whole thing is that he got his start as an actor in a musical thing. I mean, obviously it was Disney Channel, so it's musical, but like it was nice to see him be able to showcase that, and I think he did a good job. Also, it was just really cool, like to see him in this because I had no idea that he was like a religious kind of guy,
Yeah, you don't get that
and
from Disney
I was
actors
happy
very
to
much.
see that. Yeah, not really much, especially ones that have now moved away from Disney because he's done. I believe he's done with Disney.
So we won't get another zombies movie, Isaac. I know you're
Well,
so sad,
no,
but
they won't.
hold back your
They
tears.
made too many of
Hold
them.
back
I
your
hated
tears,
I
Isaac. And
hated
you don't
3.
have to cry.
3 sucked so bad and 2 didn't need to be made either. I liked the first one, the second one
Oh
was
my
kind
god.
of alright, and the third one was suck dick.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's
And
still
you could
talking
quote me
about
on
them.
that. Anyway, moving
He's-
on to everything to this movie. This was actually a lot of fun. This was a fun movie. I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed
It
myself.
was cool.
I thought some of the jokes actually worked pretty well.
It did. I liked they kind of put. I'm gonna say this, and I'm like it put a modern spin on it, but not too modern a spin on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they somehow made it like more modern, but avoided controversial shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Um,
mean, it was yeah, like I was gonna say. I mean, besides the whole religion aspect of it, but religion's always been controversial. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, but um, I'm taking a step back a bit to something you said. I am surprised at the amount of like big name actors that ended up in this movie. Because the evil
oh yeah,
king was fucking Antonio Banderas.
yeah,
You
yeah. It
know,
was. He was
Puss
absolutely
in Boots.
phenomenal in the role too.
Puss
He
in
was
Boots,
absolutely
the dad
phenomenal in the.
from Spy Kids. Are you kidding? Yeah, he was really
Yeah, he was
good.
King Herod.
Yeah,
He did very very well. It's crazy. It's actually really funny because you bring this up. There are some big name actors in this movie, and then there are some actors that have literally nothing to their IMDb page. Either that or it's all Spanish shit.
right. And then
There's
there's
no in between.
And then
Like,
there's like these small time actors, but the ones that you and I recognize immediately. Like one of the wise men was Mason McCullough from Pair of Kings.
I was so happy to see him again because I have to say, one thing I love about that guy is his voice.
Yeah, he's got a great voice.
Like the dude, he's got a really deep, just natural voice. Like that's just what he speaks, and it was just so good. It was so funny to see this, and he's still just as funny because I love that about the wise men. I like that they kind of made the wise men because when you hear the story of Jesus and all that, the wise men take a side thing. Like you don't really know anything about them,
Yeah,
you know? Like they're just
yeah, they
dudes who
they
showed up from afar. I
they
like that they
definitely
gave them
went.
personality.
Yeah, and they went more in depth on like their role in the story, which I thought was interesting. Um,
That was really cool, and I liked that they were all like kind of wisecracking the whole time too.
yeah. They made it fun. Like it was funny, but they didn't like make fun of the religion, if that makes sense.
No, they didn't.
Like they just made
They
like
made
regular
jokes
jokes.
like I said, they made it modern, so they joked about in a modern kind of way, but not too modern a
Yeah,
way, if that makes
yeah.
sense. Like they did it casually, like people today, and that was really cool. And the music was actually really good. Like I actually liked a lot of the songs.
Yeah, even I don't like musicals like at all, but even this, like I found like I leaned over to you at one point. I'm like, all right, that one's a banger.
Yeah,
That one's a banger.
you really liked In My Blood.
Yeah, In My Blood. That one's officially
That
endorsed by me. If you go look up the soundtrack, In My Blood has my seal of approval.
that was good. I actually liked a lot of it. Like I think they did a very good job with setting the tone of the movie with the music because it's very rare, especially with musicals, that you get a movie and it is either way too much music or way too little for the
Yeah,
length of the movie.
I mean, I
This
don't
movie
mind
did
the
a
way too little, but that's me.
That's fair, but as a person who likes I
Yeah, I'm
listen to
joking.
music. I like musicals. Like as
Yeah,
a person who likes musicals, I like being able
I-
to listen to a soundtrack that has a bit of ebb and flow to it.
yeah, I
And
get what you mean,
like,
but
go ahead.
like, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, there was a good balance of like actual story. Like, it didn't feel like the ones where there's like the song just ended and they're just starting another one again. Like, there was a good balance of the actual story with like the music numbers.
The other thing I liked about the music numbers, and it's something I like about that musicals do when they do it, is they did a good job of making the music work with the plot. Because a
Yeah,
lot of the times, what musicals will do, they'll just throw a song in there sometimes, especially more modern musicals. They'll just throw a song in there where it doesn't really need to be. But this actually the music worked like what was it? Can We Make This Work? Which was Mary and Joseph's first song together in the movie.
yeah,
It was really cool because the whole thing about Mary and Joseph, it tells a part of the story that you don't really get a lot, which is Mary and Joseph were an arranged marriage. Like they were arranged to be married.
I mean, that was the norm at the time, so I mean, it's not too surprising, but that's not something that's talked
No,
about.
it's not something that's talked about. Like when you think about Mary and Joseph, you think about them as this perfectly loving couple kind of thing.
Yeah,
But like they brought the baby Jesus into the world. They're amazing, but like at the time they were meant to be wed, Mary pronounced that she is pregnant.
yeah,
Like that is something that is one extremely shameful in those times. But B also like she's saying that she's carrying the child of God, which a
yeah,
lot of people are just shut up, you crazy. Like it was like like both Mary and Joseph had to take it on faith for a lot of this, and it was cool to watch them struggle with their faith, yet also remain resolute in it as at the same time. You know,
yeah,
like it was a cool, it was a very good addition that adds depth to the story of Jesus' birth, and like anyway, like, back to what started that, but like the first song they have together is them not knowing like can we make this arranged marriage that our parents are making us get? Because at that time, yes, arranged marriages were the norm, but also marrying for love was not uncommon either.
right.
Like it wasn't a thing. So like it was kind of weird. But the song itself, like the beats they used, they kind of I even remember when I was pitching this, going to go see this movie, to you, I brought up that it's like pop, that it's a pop twist on classic like Christmas stuff,
Yeah, and you lost me.
and like yeah, you lost. Yeah, I lost you. You were like, "Ee," like,
I was like,
I
"Yeah."
don't know, man. I don't know, man. But no, this was very.
Well,
This
because
was this was all
when
right.
you
Like,
described it, you said it was gonna be like a pop retelling of classic Christmas songs. So I thought that they were just gonna do like they were gonna remix Silent Night or something, and that's what it was. But no, they actually made like brand new music for the movie.
yeah, they did. I mean, some of it was they did "O Come, O Come, Emmanuel." They did "Silent Night." They. It was
Right, but
the
those
sound
weren't
design and the music was amazing.
those weren't really music numbers. Those were like the background songs, like as
Yeah,
montages were happening, really. But yeah, like
yeah,
sorry, I've been letting you take the reins on this one because you're the musical guy. But
yeah,
I, I thought this was a very good movie. I thought it was very well done. I
yeah.
didn't hate it as much as other
Like, let's
musicals.
put it this way: if I had used my Spirited on this movie, would you have given it back?
No, wait, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I was
Like,
confused by
would
the
you would
question.
have given me my Spirit? Yeah, you would have given me
Yeah,
my
no, I would
Spirited
not have. I would not
back.
have. I would not have had any issue doing that. No, I'd
Yeah.
be like,
I
yeah, that
I
was
I
good.
I
You
actually
can-
was going I actually was going to I remember asking you if you wanted me to use a Spirited on this, like if I had to, because either way I wanted to watch this movie. I did.
Yeah. No, but after you like went through what it was about and like who was all going to be in it, I was like, nah, my I'm interested enough. Let's go see it. Plus, it's Christmas,
But
so
yeah, also Antonio Banderas is "Good to Be King" in this movie. Oh, I loved that song. I loved watching Antonio Banderas just being able to just go at it. Like, it was I like Antonio Banderas as like a musical type person. Like, I like seeing him perform, 'cause that's what he is. He's a performer. So it was just fun.
he's also your favorite
Uh,
fearless hero. Don't forget that.
He is my favorite fearless hero.
All right. Moving on to the rankings for this. I'll let you go first. Get your gauge on this.
I actually was gonna put this movie at a very like I'd give this like I'm gonna give it a 6, but it's like a 6 3/4 kind of thing. Like, not
Mm.
on the high end of 6, but it's like a 6 3/4.
All right. Um, I'm also going to give this a 6, a high 6, but it's above the holdovers. So like a couple like
Oh,
notches up from the holdovers, actually.
oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought it was enjoyable. I wouldn't have any problem adding this to a Christmas movie roster. Um, I mean holdovers as well, but you know, I was surprisingly enjoying the movie, and it went by like pretty fast.
It did. That was the thing I actually looked
Lost you
over
for
to
a
you
minute
and
there.
said at the end of it.
Yeah,
What?
nothing.
Yeah.
All
Oh.
right.
No. I said that. I was like, I was shocked because like you got at the end of it and you're like, that movie was not very long, and I'm like, it was an hour and 45-minute movie, dude, and you're like, really?
Yeah, that's crazy. All
Yep.
right,
So anyway, moving on.
to Napoleon.
Yeah, this is the one that I think we were. Oh, Thanksgiving we were really excited for, but we were also fairly excited for this movie.
Yeah.
Like
Um.
Joaquin Phoenix, he's a big draw.
Yeah. Needless to explain, the premise of this is like the life of Napoleon Bonaparte, the French
Not
general.
Dynamite.
Not Dynamite, no. And just his role as a leader in the wars and his romantic life and his reign as emperor of France.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't even know that about him, by the way.
yeah, me neither. First things
I
first,
just, I,
guys.
oh,
He's not like 3 feet tall. He was like 5'5".
you know what's crazy? I actually looked it up. Joaquin Phoenix is only 5'8".
Yeah,
He's like
so
our
like
height.
yeah, so he didn't even have to like what our height. Do you think I'm 5'8"?
Well, we're
Who do
like
you
five
think I
foot
am?
six, right?
What?
We're like 5'6", 5'8", 5'6", 5'7", right?
You think I'm 5'6"?
Well,
Do,
I'm
do
like
you
five
think
six, five
you're
seven,
five
and you're
six?
only a little bit taller than. Aren't I?
Are you? I don't remember you being
I'm
that
pretty sure I am.
minuscule. Dude,
I
I'm
think I am.
5'11".
Oh, maybe I am 5'8". I don't know.
I don't think you're
Huh.
five
I don't know.
six for a guy.
Just giving the audience our heights.
Yeah, I hope it that
Anyway,
and I hope they don't break into our bank account with our heights. Okay. All right. Anyways, um, so yeah, plot not really necessary because it's just as I said, it's the battles that he went through and his issues with his wife. It's a biopic, so
yeah.
it kind of feels in the same lane as Oppenheimer.
Hmm.
Um, you told me before we started recording that you didn't have a lot to say about Napoleon, and you went on for Journey to Bethlehem, so I'll kind of take the reins on Napoleon if that's okay.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I don't have an insane amount to say. I only have the only stuff I would have to say about this movie are the stuff that you are 100% going to bring up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Um, so again, this is probably just going to be nothing but spoilers. So prepare thyself for that. I will admit that by the time we sat down in our seats for Napoleon, we had already been in the theater for about maybe 9 to 9.5 hours straight. And I was a little tired.
mhm,
Isaac slept through the trailers, so I pretty sure he was charging up his eyes because he was also fairly tired. Um,
yes.
so my eyes were like dry and like I was kind of straining to keep them open during the opening of this. Um, but there was a moment
Yeah.
during during the first battle of of the movie, like the first time Napoleon gets sent into action, where a cannonball comes hurtling through the air and just obliterates this horse. Like it just like the front of the horse just fucking explodes, and there's a crater in the middle of its chest. And I immediately like I you had my full attention whether
Oh
whether
yeah,
I
I saw that
wanted to
with
give
you.
it to you or not. The fucking horse explodes from the front, and I'm just like, all right, here we are now. You have my attention.
Yeah, you got yeah. I like felt you perk up at that moment.
I
You're
was
like,
like, all
oh,
right,
hello, and
here
even I
we
did.
go.
Like, no joke. No joke. It was so visceral. I can still picture it perfectly.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Like it was
It's
horrifying yet amazing.
yeah.
You
Ah,
definitely don't want
eh,
the internet getting a hold of that image though.
it's too late, man. It's too late.
I'm
But
sure.
I will say anything off the battlefield, I did not particularly care about. Because most of the stuff off the battlefield dealt with his relationship with his wife, who and like the affairs that she was having and whether or not she could give him a child, and I kind of didn't care because it was a lot of talking. Oppenheimer was a lot of talking. This was a lot less talking, so I'll give it that. And then it went to the cut to the battlefield to give some good action. And the battlefield stuff was some of the best like war type cinematics that I've seen this year. Because there's a scene, one of the battles that he did, where he was going up against another army and he chased them all out onto like ice, like a frozen over river. And then he just let the cannonballs go and they fired all the mortars and the cannons and they just rained down onto the ice, breaking through and just collapsing everyone like bit by bit into the freezing water dead. And that is such a hard battle tactic.
Oh yeah. Like the fact that he had that plan from the beginning cuz like he like the whole you skipped to the end, but like he spent the whole battle maneuvering them. That was his end goal from the beginning. That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Like the
he
fact
had
that he hid troops uphill to lure the enemy into thinking that they had the upper hand, so they would storm the encampment. Then he released the troops from like hiding, and they all rushed in to kind of like put a little pressure on him. And then he released the cavalry, so he boxed them in, so that way they retreat onto the ice. And then he reveals the cannons that he was hiding and just starts firing on them. Like, oh my god, the dude was a tactical genius.
yeah, he went kind of hard on the battlefield, not gonna lie.
Like he was terrifying. And then off the field, he was kind of a cuck to his wife.
Yeah. Not the best side of Napoleon that he probably would have wanted to be shown, but you know,
Yeah.
it's yeah, but oh
Like that's what it was.
yeah, oh my god, the stuff on the battlefield was next level. I could not care. Frankly, everything outside of that was kind of boring. So
It was, which
need,
it was
need
sad because it was a lot of the movie.
yeah, it was. I thought Joaquin Phoenix played the role like immaculately. I don't think they could have picked anyone better to
Oh,
be
he did.
him.
No, he did an amazingly good job, and like it was interesting because I always thought like when I thought about Napoleon, like like I didn't think about him often, obviously, but like when you think about Napoleon, you expect this like he's kind of just painted as a villain.
Yeah,
Like he's just a bad guy who did this thing, and he's bad and he's short. Like that's what that's literally everything I knew about Napoleon, like going into this, and like no, he wasn't a bad guy.
bro, he
He
fought the
was
British,
just
which is base.
ambitious. Yeah, he was just ambitious. That's really all he was. Like
He was just a
he wanted
baller.
his he wanted peace in the world, and he wanted to protect his country. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
And it was like he's not a bad dude. He's actually kind of a silly guy. He's a bit
He's
of a
kind
silly
of a
guy.
silly guy. He said about Napoleon Bonaparte.
He's a bit
Bro,
of a silly
did
guy. He
you
likes
read his kill stats at the end of the movie?
Yeah, but he's kind of a silly guy.
He was kind of a silly guy
Yeah.
with a KDR in the millions.
Yeah.
Dog.
The
By the
other
way,
thing that this like go ahead.
no, you go ahead, because your thing's actually about the
Uh,
movie.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Another thing this movie was kind of an L on was establishing who characters are in
I mean,
scenes.
they gave you their name for the most part, but like, I mean, honestly, anyone who wasn't Napoleon or his wife, did it matter who it was?
No, not really, but like you know what I mean. Like when it came to like chancellors and world leaders and stuff like that, half the time I'm like, who the fuck are we talking to right now?
They like showed you the guys' names when they came down. Like the
They
first
did.
arrival of
Yeah,
them, they showed
again,
you their name.
I know. It's just sometimes it took a minute, you know,
Yeah.
to know
Sorry,
who he's
it was
talking
in
to.
cursive. I know that's hard for you to read sometimes, bud.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, what was your thing? What was your by the way?
Oh, by the way, did you happen to notice the weird guy in the back of our theater that kept laughing at parts that weren't jokes?
Yeah, there was an old guy that was sitting right next to me that literally, I'm not kidding you, I timed it. I actually timed it. Literally, like every like couple of minutes, like every like 3 minutes, he would go from sitting back and then like he'd be sitting back and then he'd like lean forward for like 3 to 5 minutes and then he'd lean back for another two, and then he'd be back up, and like he's like, and I'm like, the movie's not that gripping, bro. Like
Bro's trying to also not fall asleep during this.
he was really old, so I'm just sitting there like, oh, he's like, I remember that.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people in the theater that were a little off the goop.
Yeah, they were, but like otherwise, like it was an all right movie. Like it wasn't terrible. I did not hate this movie. This movie was all right.
If you're really
Like it's a
into
biopic.
if you're really into history, this movie goes hard.
Yes, I will say that. Like, if you're really interested in like historical battles and
Like
like older
if you were the
warfare,
guy if you were the guy giving the tour on French history at the museum, like you're gonna love this movie.
oh yeah,
Or like yeah, or like history teachers, like you might get in luck and your cool history teacher might let you watch this movie in class and for probably for college, not
probably
high
not.
school.
Yeah,
Maybe. Um
but but no, it was alright.
yeah. You want to move on to the rankings and wrap this up here?
Yeah, I got nothing more.
All right. I am going to give this a solid 7. You know, I think the good parts were very good, and even the sluggish, slow parts were still fairly engaging. And Joaquin Phoenix fucking nailed the role, dude. Uh, yeah, I think it was a pretty solid film.
That's you know, see, here's the thing. I've been sitting here talking about like how insane some of those scenes were,
Yeah,
but honestly, my ranking for this movie, bro, is like it's like a 6, like a low 6 for me, honestly.
that's fair. I
Like
mean, we're definitely
I
close.
honestly was going when we started this filming this section, I was gonna give it a 5. Like immediately after the movie, I had it at a 5.
Wow.
Like, it's just like the battles were cool. They were cool. I'll give them that. It had a lot of cool moments like that. But like the rest of the movie, it just kind of wasn't cool. Like I didn't find it like too engaging, you know?
I mean, it's a real guy's life. Sorry, they didn't run up the plot exactly how
Yeah,
you liked it.
you know what I mean. Like it just
Yeah,
wasn't for me, man.
that's fair.
Like
That's
it's like
fair.
a low 6. Like honestly, out of the 4 movies we watched, that was like my least favorite to be honest.
Ooh.
That could be just because I was like tired and so
True.
my engagement wasn't insane.
As
But
if you slept
like
through
for the
as if
most
you
part,
slept through the exploding horse, didn't you? And you were
no, I
just lying to
didn't.
me this whole
God, no, I
time.
didn't. God, no, I didn't. Holy shit, that was insane. The thing went fucking like I was like, oh, hello. And I will say, like a lot of the people dying scenes were were really good. Like when it came to him being a general, being a leader, dude went hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Like he did. Like those scenes were really good. But the scenes, anything outside of him actually leading in a battle scenario, was just kind of ass. Like not kidding. Like I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like so the movie had so many moments that I didn't care for that it just kind of brought down my overall experience. That's why I'm giving it like a low 6.
That's fair.
Again, was going to give it a 5. Was going to give it a 5, but as we talked about it, I realized I liked it a bit more than I thought. So,
That's fair. All right. So that'll do it for the movie reviews, you guys. Moving on to next time. Um, Isaac, I don't remember absolutely everything off the top of my head, so do you want to run through next time movies for the 5th?
yeah, yes, the 5th. The movies we are definitely confirmed to go see. We are going to be watching Silent Night, I believe. Give me
Yes,
a
sir.
moment, just so I have my list. Yep, we will have Silent Night, uh, The Shift, which is a new movie by Angel Studios. Shout out Angel Studios.
Mhm.
And we will be watching Godzilla minus one.
Yeah. Uh,
That's the
did we
one. That's
did we also want to?
Go ahead.
No, we weren't able to squeeze bike riders in there as well, were we?
No, Bike Riders isn't even gonna be showing that day as of
What?
right now.
That's crazy. Yeah, we wanted to have
As of
Krampus.
right now, it is not.
We wanted to have. They brought Krampus back, the movie Krampus. They brought that back for Christmas season. But we just our schedule, we couldn't squeeze that in at the end because
Actually,
it
sir,
would be
we may we
actually
may be able to do that. We
all
might
right.
be able to.
So we will put that. We'll put a little gap in between Krampus and Godzilla minus one there because we may be able to do that. Not no
Yeah.
promises, but we might. But yeah,
All right.
that looks like a not too bad roundup for next time.
Nope.
Yeah. So that'll do it, guys. Thank you for watching. That's a wrap.
Mhm.
Roll credits.